Here I am continuing with day 26 of 2025, 365 days of amazing stories with Theo Mayer. And I'm continuing the story of what the rose did to the cypress. Now, here we have Prince Almus resting well under the careful watch of the lions. He rises up in the morning and heads off down the road to the right. Now, Jamila had told him not to take that road. It was short, but incredibly dangerous. If he were to go down that road, it would pass by the land of the clashing swords. There was a king there who had many, many warriors that served him. And it would be by sheer luck alone that Prince Almus would be able to pass through this land. Prince Almus, he thought to himself, what is decreed by God is decreed by God. What's written on my forehead is written on my forehead. I shall go down this path. And if it is fate that I shall die along it, so be it. Now, praying to God, the causer of all causes, Prince Almus went down that road. And eventually he came to where there was a huge man standing watch with a large sword in hand. And when he saw Prince Almus riding up and past him, this man came out and grabbed Prince Almus's reins and stayed him. My master has not had man flesh for quite some time, but has been craving it. So lucky that you have passed this way. Come with me. We shall feed him well tonight. Prince Almus, without speaking a word, made it clear to this giant of a man that he would have none of this. The giant then took the sword from its sheath, but before he could wield it, Prince Almus had taken his sword out and cleaved that man of one into two. As he fell, a scream had left his mouth, and another sentry not so far off saw what was taking place and came rushing over, at the same time sending another man to his king to let him know that an intruder had arrived. The same fate. Well, that man that came suffered the same fate as the first. He fell to the ground in two pieces rather than one. Prince Almus then saw in the distance hundreds of soldiers coming toward him, making a stand and getting down from his horse. He began to fire arrows at these men, dropping them one by one. As they grew closer, he cleaved each one in two as he had done with the first two. Hundreds of these soldiers fell. At a certain point in a break in the action, Prince Almus took one of the hairs of the lion and burnt it. By this point in time, though, one of the warriors of the king had gone back and let him know what had taken place, that almost all of his warriors were dead. Coming out, seeing what had taken place, he called to him a man of immense size. This man had never been vanquished, even close to vanquished in any conflict. He was giant, the size of 2 or 3 of the biggest men. He came striding out of the king's castle, the king's personal bodyguard, and went up to Prince Almus, grabbed him, and tucked him under his arm. and carried him in such a way back to the king. As he was being carried, Prince Almus took the dagger of Timus out and plunged it into the armpit of this giant of a man, who screamed in pain and dropped him. Before he could do anything else, Prince Almus had divided this man in two as well. And the king now, having watched from afar, rallied the rest of his troops and came out to do Prince Almus' battle. And we will leave the story there.